Okay, good afternoon po. I hope you can hear me. All right, my name is Mr. Apollo Puntar, and we are Gateway to Canada or Canadian Immigration Consultancy. The purpose of this webinar is basically to provide you information about different pathways how to immigrate to Canada. There are several pathways, but we will try to simplify through these presentations. After my presentation, if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. So you can use the Q&A box. I think it's below your screen. While the presentation is ongoing, if you have questions, you can type your questions in and then I will be answering them later. All right. And okay, let me begin my presentation by introducing a little bit about our company. First, we are not a recruitment agency. Okay, so we do not provide placement abroad. So kung nakahanap kayo ng trabaho, unfortunately, hindi kami registered sa POEA and we are not allowed to do that. Okay, I hope that's clear. And although we have over 300 partner schools across Canada, we are not just an education agent. More than that, we are an immigration consultancy firm with over 30 years of experience doing visa processing to Canada. We've been sending Filipinos to Canada since 1989. And for more than 30 years, we have already helped thousands of Filipinos get ahead in life. You see, this is not just about visa processing for us because immigrating to Canada is about having a quality life. It is about having the safety nets. And it is the reason basically bakit maraming mga Filipinos yung gustong magtrabaho abroad. Right? Lahat tayo may kakilala. I'm sure. Kung hindi man natin kamag-anak, kaibigan, kapitbahay, meron tayong isang kakilala na nagtatrabaho abroad as an overseas contract worker. That is a given. But the real question is, bakit po kaya? Right? Sa pakikipag-usap namin sa mga clients namin over the last 30 years, yung mga overseas contract workers, we found out that Filipinos work abroad because they are trying to solve their family financial problem. And they're doing this because they want to have a quality life. Kaya lang, let me ask you this. Is working abroad away from your family a quality life? Yes. Nakakapagpadala ka ng pera para sa pamilya mo, panggastos, pagkain, pambayad sa tuition and all that. Pero sa kapalit naman ito, hindi mo nakakasama ang iyong family. Hindi mo nasusubaybayan yung pagpapalaki ng mga bata. No? And sa palagay ko, hindi lang dahil sa dollar remittances kung bakit tinatawag na modern day heroes yung mga OFWs. More than that, I think, it is because yung pagtatrabaho abroad as a contract worker, punong-puno ito ng sacrifices para lamang ito sa matitibay ang loob. Kaya nga may iba na nagme-mental breakdown kapag ka nandoon sa abroad. Kasi nga, mahirap malayo sa family. Now, it begs the question, is working abroad as an OFW a long-term solution? Will it really solve your family's financial problem? Will it really give your family a quality life? Kasi an overseas contract worker, after working for, let's say, 20 years, magre-retire siya, babalik siya ng Pilipinas, meron ba siyang comprehensive retirement pay? Wala. Ang pwedeng matanggap is yung minimal separation pay in which a year or two maaaring maubos din kaagad. And chances are, kung wala na yung savings, meron pa rin namang needs yung family, right? Hindi naman siya nawala. So, nandiyan pa rin. In fact, baka nga yung financial needs mo, yung financial problem mo is worse than 20 years ago. So, what are you going to do if you are in that situation? Most often than not, ang nangyayari, kung meron siyang anak, doon siya nakadepende. Ito namang anak, because of the too much financial burden na nakaatang sa kanyang balikat, mapipilitan din siyang magtrabaho abroad kasi hindi kaya ng income niya from the Philippines to address yung needs ng kanyang family including yung extended family. Sino ba yung mga extended family? These are your parents, yung kapatid, parents ng asawa mo, kapatid ng asawa mo. Because of this financial obligation na supposedly hindi naman talaga dapat obligasyon, mapipilitan ka ring mag-abroad. And that where begins yung never-ending vicious cycle ng buhay ng mga overseas contract workers. Kasi admit it or not, bihira sa mga magulang yung nag-retire talaga ng merong comprehensive retirement plan. Sa totoo lang, pag sinabi nating retired, ang pinakamalapit na kahulugan niyan is walang income, unemployed. At kadalasan, tayong mga anak ang nagiging retirement plan. Right? But don't get me wrong here. Walang masama na tayong mga anak ay magbibigay ng tulong sa ating mga magulang dahil wala na nga silang income. But the question is this, do you also want that kind of life? Do you also want to end up a financial burden sa iyong family during your old age? You have the power to stop that vicious cycle. No? Pwede mo siyang mabago. That is a choice. No? Kaya lang, we cannot make that decision for you. Trabaho namin, ipaliwanag sa inyo what situation you are in right now, ano yung mga choices mo, ano yung mga options. Kasi if until now, you feel wala ka pa ring safety nets, the bigger question is, anong plano mo? Lalo pa nga ngayon, because of this COVID-19 pandemic, which is spreading around the world, it has caused serious problems for many families worldwide, lalo na sa mga Filipino families. It exposed the fact na bihira sa mga Filipino families ang merong safety nets. Yes, even those in first world countries like Canada, affected din sila. May mga nawalan din ng trabaho. But they have the safety nets. Tayo wala. To illustrate my point, yung mga Filipino workers na nawalan ng trabaho, magkano ba yung binigay na subsidy ng Canadian government? 5,000 pesos, sabi ng iba, 8,000. Yung iba twice nakatanggap, yung iba isang beses lang, marami ang hindi. Now, compare that sa Canada. Sa Canada, yung mga workers na na-displaced ng pandemic since March until now, they are receiving $500 per week as emergency response benefits. Dahil nawalan sila ng trabaho, binibigyan sila ng Canadian government ngayon ng 2,000 Canadian dollars monthly. So i-compare niyo yan sa 5,000 pesos na one-time subsidy. Medyo nakakaiyak yung comparison, di po ba? Now, sa Philippines, kapag ikaw ay na-infect ng COVID-19, so ano ba ang kailangan? Testing, medication, hospitalization, confinement, right? Hindi naman siya totally free. Merong news, I think in the early stage ng April, may isang family na nananawagan ng tulong dahil umabot ng more than 1 million yung kanilang hospital bill. Eh hindi naman siya covered ng PhilHealth lahat na hindi natin tiyak kung may pondo pa rin because of the rumored corruption. Now, sa Canada, hindi nyo po problemahin yung ganung bagay. And this is why our clients who are already in Canada are very thankful na nung pumutok yung pandemic, nandoon na sila sa Canada dahil hindi nila pinoproblema yung mga common problems natin dito sa Pilipinas. Mula sa testing, medication, hospitalization, hindi nila yan problema. So yun ang tinutukoy po namin na safety nets. So if you don't have the safety nets right now, ano yung plano mo? Kasi the longer you delay your decision na mag-apply, mas malaki ang nawawala sa'yo. Take a look at this income comparison. Let's assume that you are currently working in the Philippines. Sabihin na natin na you are earning 25,000 per month. This is way above minimum wage, right? Ang minimum wage is magkano ba? 15,000, 16,000? So, i-convert natin yan at 35 pesos para makuha natin yung Canadian currency equivalent. That is $714. 25,000 monthly. Now, compare that kung nasa Canada ka nagtatrabaho, earning $14 per hour. Ito yung minimum wage sa Ontario. Sa Alberta is even $15 per hour. But let's use $14 per hour. minimum wage. Nagtatrabaho ka 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week ka magtatrabaho. Your monthly income should have been 2,240 Canadian dollars. So dito pa lang, meron ka ng lost income na 1,525 and 71 Canadian dollars. Lost income siya dahil kung sa Canada ka sana nagtatrabaho o na minimum wage, eto yung kinikita mo. And in 1 year time, multiply that by 12, your lost income is 18,308 Canadian dollars. Convert natin at 35, that is 640,000 pesos in lost income opportunity yearly. 5 years from now, hindi ka pa rin nag-migrate sa Canada, 3 million yung nawala sa yung income opportunity. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the only way para magkaroon ka ng quality life, ng safety net is by immigrating to Canada. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you don't have a plan right now, this plan worked for thousands of our clients who are now enjoying a quality life sa Canada. So if you're not immigrating to Canada, ano yung plano mo? Right? Ang mahalaga, meron kang plan. Otherwise, medyo 5 years from now, the same problem pa rin yung kakaharapin mo. Another argument that you might have is, yes, malaki yung income sa Canada, pero mas mataas naman yung cost of living. That is actually true. No? No question about it. Although that is like comparing apple to an orange. Because if you're going to compare yung cost of living ng Canada against other first world countries like the US, no? The UK, New Zealand, and Australia, generally speaking, mas mababa yung cost of living sa Canada. Pero patulan natin yon kasi kinumpare natin yung income Philippines tsaka income ng Canada. Yes, that is a fair question. But as you will see here, very conservative yung presentation natin dito. Yung Philippine income is more than minimum wage. And this ang income sa Canada is limited sa minimum wage. And hindi pa natin na i-factor in dito yung social services, social benefits that you and your family will be entitled to once you are in Canada. Pag-usapan natin yon. And these are basically the reasons bakit maraming gustong mag-migrate sa Canada. Primarily is universal healthcare system. From minor headache to major surgery, this is not going to be a problem. It is not going to be a problem. May mga limitation like yung dental services, mga cosmetic surgeries, hindi yan lahat covered. Pero the most basic, even yung major surgeries, hindi niya siya problema. The best example perhaps is kung merong mga working moms dito, you will like this. Sa Philippines kasi, kapag maternity, no? Pag nanganak ka sa private hospital sa mga major cities, magkano ba yung maternity expenses, hospitalization? Could be kung normal delivery, could be around 25,000 50,000 pesos. Kung cesarean pa yan, it could be doubled, right? And ang mangyayari niyan, kung cesarean, 100,000. Now, compare that sa Canada, absolutely wala kayong babayaran. Whether normal delivery yan or cesarean operation, absolutely walang babayaran. And kung dito, allowed ang mga working moms ng 2 to 3 months na maternity leave, sa Canada, yung combined maternity and parental leave, pwedeng tumagal siya ng 1 year. Okay? Without worry na baka hindi ka natanggapin ng employer mo after 1 year because that is part of your benefits. And during that period, pwede ka pang makatanggap ng as much as 55% of your monthly pay as a subsidy from the Canadian government. Imagine that. Libre yung panganganak mo, 1 year ka nakabakasyon with subsidy. Here's more. Yung bata, from birth until they reach 18 years old, monthly, may matatanggap silang allowance from the Canadian government through child tax benefits. As much as 500 to 800 Canadian dollars per month per kid until they reach 18 years old. This is to make sure na mai-provide yung needs, yung welfare ng bata. So dito, tayong mga magulang, kailangan nating mag-allocate ng budget para sa gatas, vitamins, no? Diapers, etc. Mga necessities sa pagpalapak ng bata. Sa Canada, provided siya ng Canadian government. Pero yung amount niyan, hindi siya fixed na 500 or 800. Annually, your income will be evaluated. Pag medyo mataas yung income ng parents, bababa yung subsidy. Right? So kapag sinabi ng mga kamag-anak nyo na maliit na lang yung natatanggap nila, that only means malaki na kasi yung income nila. Another factor would be yung age ng bata. Mas bata pa, mas malaki yung subsidy. Now, kung hindi ka pa satisfied na libre yung panganganak mo, 1 year kang nakabakasyon, may subsidy, and then may allowance pa ang iyong mga anak, idagdag niyo po yung free education. Education in Canada is absolutely free from kinder hanggang grade 12. And kung dito yung mga Catholic schools are private at malaki yung tuition, sa Canada, merong public, Catholic, and totally libre yung education. Right? Pagdating ng college, university, may bayad na. Of course, medyo mas mahal yan compared sa Philippines, pero merong mga government supports pa rin, like student loan program, bursaries, grants, scholarships. Kaya isa ang Canada sa may pinakamataas na literacy rate sa buong mundo. Right? So another advantage doon sa Canada is yung income opportunities. So definitely mas marami at mas malaki yung income opportunities which I've explained earlier. And equally important is your retirement plan. So if you immigrate sa Canada, after working for few years, you will be entitled sa generous retirement pay. So you will age gracefully. You will age gracefully because hindi ka ma-i-stress kung saan ka kukuha ng ipang kakain mo or gastusin during your old age. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo, maraming mga Canadians ang nagbabakasyon sa Pilipinas, yung mga matatanda na, and minsan nagtatagal dito ng more than 1 month bakasyon because they are able to do that. Because they have the benefits. And this is the huge difference kung ang magiging solution mo sa financial problem is by working abroad as a contract worker or as a permanent resident sa Canada. But I'm not saying na mali ang magtrabaho abroad as a contract worker. What I'm trying to point out is working abroad as a contract worker is just a temporary solution. While immigrating to Canada with your family, it is a long-term solution. So hindi mo kailangang mahiwalay sa pamilya mo just to earn in dollars. That is true immigration. Right? Now, syempre, walang nasa matinong pag-iisip yung tatanggi dun sa ganung benefits. And perhaps, ang question mo right now is, okay Apple, sold ako dyan, gusto ko yung benefits na yan para sa akin at sa aking pamilya, paano ba mag-apply? Right? So let's talk about that. First, lahat ng information about visa application going to Canada is actually available for free. You just need to visit Canada's official government website, which is canada.ca. Lahat ng information nandiyan dyan. It is not mandatory to hire the services of an immigration lawyer or an immigration consultant like us. There is no guarantee that if you hire one, ay ma-approve yung application ko or application mo. No? Why I'm telling you this? I get this question a lot. No? Why do you still discuss that? Paano kung dumiretso kami sa government website? Now, that's a very common question. Now, we do this because we want you to have an informed decision. Gusto namin, pag i-hire nyo kami, yung naiintindihan mo yung process. We respect our clients like that. No? So, ano ba yung advantage kung hindi naman pala guaranteed na ma-approve yung application kung i-hire nyo kami? The huge advantage is our experience. You can bank on doon sa over 3 decades of experience doing Canadian visa processing. We may not be able to guarantee approval, but definitely, we can help you increase your chances. Simple lang naman yan. If this will be your first time to do this, you are more susceptible sa mga mistakes. Right? Ang advantage namin is that those common mistakes, napagdaanan na namin siya. So pwede namin kayong iiwas. So help is available. So why take the risk, right? You'll be surprised. Meron kaming mga clients, mga lawyers. and still they hire us. So pag may mga ganung cases, ang common question sa kanila is, attorney, you're supposed to know this, no? Or kung hindi man, you should be able to learn this. So why hire us? So there's this one lawyer na gusto ko yung sagot niya. Sabi niya sa akin, Apple, alam mo kasi, pag masakit yung ngipin ko, sa dentist ako pumupunta. Pag may masakit yung mga bata, sa pediatrician ako pumupunta. This immigration sa Canada is not my line. Kaya pumupunta ako dun sa merong experience and authority to do that. That is from a lawyer dito sa Philippines. No? But then again, to its own. No? Kung sa palagay nyo, kaya nyo siyang gawin on your own, then nandiyan yung information, canada.ca. Pero kung sa palagay nyo, kailangan nyo ng assistance, then that's the only time that you hire us. Fair enough? Okay. Now, let's talk about how to really have a chance na maging permanent resident. Right now, the design of Canada's immigration programs is basically to prioritize those who are already strongly connected sa Canada through education, meaning meron kang Canadian education credentials, meaning nag-aral ka sa Canada. Meron kang Canadian work experience, or kung wala man, meron kang permanent and full-time employment. Obviously, kung nasa labas ka ng Canada, hindi mo makukuha lahat yan. At most, makakuha ka ng permanent and full-time offer. Kaya lang, medyo mahirap pa rin yun. Kasi if you're the Canadian employer, who would you rather hire? Yung nasa Canada na with permit or yung nasa labas pa ng Pilipinas na kailangan mo pang gastusan at hindi sigurado kung mabibigyan ng visa. So yun yung challenge. So kaya ang napaprioritize ngayon na mabigyan ng permanent residency, etong merong mga ganitong factors, generally speaking. Pero like I've said, there are several pathways para maging permanent resident ka. Now, isa-isahin natin yung mga realistically possible para sa inyo. Express entry. Express entry is the system being used to manage federal immigration programs and some streams ng provincial nominee program. This is a ranking system. So you need to submit your expression of interest. If you met the minimum criteria, you will be included dun sa pool ng qualified applicants. Madaling makapasok dun sa pool. Kaya lang, pag nandoon ka na sa express entry pool, meron namang comprehensive ranking system. So you will be ranked based on your age, education, experience, connection sa Canada, language proficiency, etc. And monthly, pumipili sila ng matataas yung score. Right? Pag napili ka mula sa pool, bibigyan ka ng 90 days to submit your documentation, and upon submission, maghintay ka lang ng 6 months. 6 months, half year, meron ka ng immigrant visa. Mabilis. Ang indefinite, however, is kailan ka mapipili mula doon sa express entry pool. Alright? Kung nasa labas ka ng Canada, meron ka lang fighting chance sa express entry if you are not more than 30 years old, nakatapos ka ng bachelor's degree, may kapatid ka sa Canada na PR or citizen, meron kang 3 years experience, at mataas ang iyong IELTS exam result. Ang pinag-uusapan nating score dito ay 8 sa listening, 7 sa writing, reading, and speaking. Kung yun ang profile mo, pasok ka sa express entry. Otherwise, forget about it. Maaaring mag-qualified ka, pero there's a great chance that you will be waiting indefinitely. Kung hindi ito yung profile mo at nasa express entry pool ka, the only way na makakatanggap ka ng invitation is kung mano-nominate ka ng isa sa mga provinces sa Canada or meron kang job offer. So, doable pa rin. Kaya lang, hindi lahat ay nano-nominate. Depende yan sa in-demand occupation sa mga province, kung nag-qualify ka, etc. But generally speaking, kung hindi ito yung profile mo, forget about express entry system. Marami pa namang pathways. Like Atlantic Immigration Pilot. Okay? Nag-start to 2017 as an experiment, pero ngayon permanent program na siya. Ang main requirement dito, however, is meron kang job offer. Okay, here's the tricky part. Dito sa Pilipinas, maraming mga immigration consulting firms, travel agencies, yung nag-o-offer ng assistance para hanapan ka ng employer. Please be informed, please be reminded na kung itong mga immigration firms na ito or travel agencies ay hindi registered sa POEA, that is illegal recruitment. Okay? Kaya nga hindi kami nag-o-offer ng placement services kasi hindi kami registered sa POEA. So ang workaround ng iba dyan is may mga company sila abroad, nasa UAE for example. So kung nasa UAE yung company, hindi sila obligado na mag-register sa POEA. So ang offer nila sa'yo is magbayad ka ng say 100,000, hahanapan ka nila ng employer, pag nahanapan ka ng employer, bayad ka ng another 100,000, something like that. No? Ang problem there is, paano kung hindi ka mahanapan ng employer? What's gonna happen doon sa 100,000? Do you really need yung mga agencies para makahanap ng employer? No. You just need to look for those accredited employers, magpadala ka ng application, pag na-hire ka, then you submit your application for Atlantic Immigration Pilot, or kung hindi mo kabisado yung process, hire us. Now, ang question perhaps is, nasa yung mga employers? Okay, we have this link, nandiyan dyan, yung gatewaytocanada.com/Atlantic. Bisitahin niyo lang po yung link na yan. Then, makikita niyo po dyan yung list ng mga employers. Alright? So, pag nakita niyo na yung mga list ng employers, may job vacancy sila, padala niyo ng application, pag na-hire kayo, then you decide, hire us or apply on your own. Paano mag-apply? Visit canada.ca. Fair enough? Okay. So, ingat po tayo doon sa mga scammers kasi marami na dyan nagre-reklamo. Alright? Yung isa dyan, kinakapitalize pa na same yung pangalan namin. So, yung iba sa amin nagre-reklamo, bakit daw ganito, siningil sila, etc. It turned out, hindi naman pala sa amin nag-sign up. Alright? So, this webinar is basically to inform you of your choices, of your options, para makabuo kayo ng informed decision. So, hindi pa rin kayo eligible sa Atlantic Immigration Pilot, try Newfoundland and Labrador Priority Skills. Dito, hindi mo kailangan ng employer, hindi mo kailangan ng job offer. Walang age limit. May minimum age requirement lang na 21 years old. And at least grade 12 graduate ka. And, pinakamahalaga, meron kang 1-year experience in the listed in-demand occupations. Itong mga in-demand occupations na to, yan, sa healthcare, mga engineers, technical specialists, ITs, mga ganun, and aquaculture worker. So ano-ano yung mga job na in-demand? Visit Gateway to Canada, search nyo lang po yung in-demand sa Newfoundland, Labrador, then makikita nyo po yung mga listed occupations. If you think you met this criteria, then we can process your PR application through Newfoundland and Labrador Priority Skills Program. This is actually one of those provincial nominee programs. Right? Okay, moving on. So kung hindi pa rin kayo pasok doon sa provincial nominee programs, Atlantic, Express Entry, you may want to try student visa. Sa totoo lang, this is the fastest and easiest way to get into Canada. Priority nila yung mga international student graduate based dun sa design ng immigration program nila. No? But how does it work really? So this is how it works. So kailangan mo mag-aral ng at least 1 year sa Canada. Siguraduhin mo lang na eligible yung school and program na kukunin mo. Pero ideally dapat 2 years. Okay? Kasi kung 1 year ka lang nag-aral, after completing your program, meron ka lang 1 year na open work permit. Pero kung 2 year yung program mo, meron kang up to 3 years na post-graduation work permit. So as an international student, pwede mo actually isama ang iyong asawa at anak. No? Yung asawa mo, pwedeng magtrabaho full-time while you are studying. Ikaw, habang nag-aaral, pwede kang magtrabaho part-time up to 20 hours per week. Your school-age kids, pwede silang mag-aral ng libre mula kinder hanggang grade 12. This is why we call this golden visa. So imagine, nag-aral ka lang, pwede ka na magtrabaho, yung asawa mo pwede rin magtrabaho full-time, and then yung anak mo pwede mag-aral ng libre. Wala pa silang monthly allowance kasi hindi pa kayo permanent resident. At least agad, no? Wala pang allowance agad. Pero after 18 months, 1.5 year, na nag-stay ang anak nyo sa Canada, kahit hindi pa kayo permanent resident, mag-uumpisa na rin na makatanggap ng monthly allowance ang inyong mga anak. Okay? And kung ang asawa mo ay meron ng trabaho sa Canada, magko-qualify na rin siya sa Universal Healthcare System. Right? That is Golden Visa. So how do you transition into becoming a permanent resident? Simple lang. After completing your program, may 3 years ka na work permit, gagamitin mo itong 3 years na ito para makahanap ng trabaho, para makagain ng 1-year experience. And then pag meron na, apply ka na ng permanent residence. Ang isang senaryo na pwedeng mangyari is that habang nag-aaral ka pa lang, yung asawa mo ay nakahanap ng trabaho na eligible yung job classification. And yung employer ay willing mag-support sa PR application. Or after 1 year, meron siyang Canadian work experience, pwede na siyang mag-apply ng PR. So, mabilis na proseso. Alright? Now, a word to the wise, tandaan niyo po ito. However, studying in Canada is not a guarantee that you will become a permanent resident. Let me repeat that. Studying in Canada is not a guarantee that you will become a permanent resident. This is why it is very important that you must choose your program, school, city, and province properly. Lahat yan may direct and indirect effect doon sa iyong immigration plans. Kaya nga mahalaga na kung mag-hire ka rin naman ng assistance, piliin mo yung immigration consulting firms over an education agent lang. I'm making this distinction because an education agent will sure be able to help you connect with the school, pero kadalasan kung ano lang yung partner school nila, doon lang nila kayo i-connect. But they are not in the position to guide you with your immigration plans. Kasi hindi sila experienced, hindi sila allowed, hindi sila authorized. So hanggang doon lang sila sa admission application. Now, on the other hand, Gateway to Canada is an immigration consulting firm and our clients are represented by authorized immigration representative. So dito pa lang, nakaplat na kung paano ka magiging PR. Pipiliin mo itong program in school na ito, itong city dahil ito yung immigration program na dapat mong applyan. That's the difference. All right? I hope that was clear. Now, paano naman mag-qualified sa student visa? Ang pinaka-importanteng requirement, financial capacity. Walang age limit. Okay? Kung nakagraduate ka ng grade 10, tapos nagtrabaho ka kaagad, meaning grade 6, 4th year high school, hindi na nag-college, tapos nagtrabaho agad, pwede ka pa rin mag-apply. May option ka pa rin for PR. Okay? So walang age limit. Meron kaming 51-year-old client na bigyan ng visa, malapit na rin silang maging permanent resident. Okay? Processing time, average 3 months. Visa processing, 3 months. And ang start ng school is January, May, and September. Gusto mong nasa Canada ka ngayong September, that is highly doable. Pwedeng-pwede pa po yan. No? 3 months lang yung processing. That is, if you will decide as soon as possible. Pero kung i-delay mo yung decision mo, baka next year ka na umabot. Alright? Now, again, ang starting school is January, May, and September. Alright? Now, magkano ba yung gagastusin kung mag-a-apply ka ng student visa sa Canada? So, the general requirement is you must have a budget to cover your 1-year tuition and 1-year living expenses. 1-year tuition on the average is around 15,000 Canadian dollars, or in Philippine peso at 40, that's 600,000 pesos. That's 1-year tuition on the average. Iba't ibang school, iba't ibang province, iba't ibang program, iba't iba yung rate. Merong mga school na ang 1-year tuition ay 9,000 lang, 10,000, yung malalaking universities hanggang 21,000. But generally speaking, that is around 15,000 Canadian dollars. Ang living expenses mo, if you're single or married pero ikaw lang yung aalis, 10,000 Canadian dollars. These 10,000 Canadian dollars pretty much cover your 1 year accommodation cost, food, transportation, and other incidental expenses during your stay. Kung kasama mo yung spouse, yung living expenses mo magiging 14. Kung may kasama kang anak, dadagdagan mo ng $3,000 each dependent child. Okay, so if you're single, kailangan mo ng 25,000 Canadian dollars or 1 million pesos. So how do you convince the visa officer na meron kang ganyang amount? Ang pinakamabisang paraan para ma-convince mo sila is bayaran mo na kagad in advance yung 1-year tuition. Alright? Siyempre, ang question nyo dyan is, what if ma-refuse? Refundable po yan, walang problema. Alright? Then, instead of na magpakita ka ng bank certificate mula sa bank account mo dito sa Pilipinas na meron kang 10,000 Canadian dollars, pwede ka mag-open na ng account sa Canada. There's a program for international students, yung Guaranteed Investment Certificate Account for international students. Pwede ka na makapag-open ng account. If you do that, medyo mataas yung chances ng approval mo. Kasi ang common reason bakit nare-refuse yung application, hindi convinced yung visa officer na may pera ka. Now, kung bayad mo na yung 1-year tuition, may bank account ka na sa Canada, iisipin pa ba na wala kang pera? Probably not. Right? It's not a guarantee na ma-approve yung application, pero mataas yung chances. In fact, better kung bukod sa magbayad ka ng 1 year, mag-open ka ng account, take the IELTS. If you do that, you will qualify sa student direct stream. This is priority processing stream. 1 month lang, pwedeng may result na, tapos mataas yung chances ng approval. Pero IELTS is not mandatory requirement for purposes of visa application. It is more of a school admission requirement. May mga schools, however, which do not require IELTS. No? So, our suggestion, take the IELTS. So, mas tataas yung chances ng approval. Alright? Now, at this point, you might be thinking na ang mahal pala, no, mag-aral sa Canada. Actually, it is. Pero, take a look at this income and expense summary and you will realize na although mahal, malaki yung investment, ang dali nyo lang palang mababawi. Alright, let's do some assumptions. Mag-asawa kayo na pupunta sa Canada. Yung student, magtatrabaho part-time 20 hours per week. Let's assume a minimum wage na $14 per hour. And then yung spouse, open work permit, magtatrabaho full-time. Let's assume 40 hours lang siya magtatrabaho at minimum wage din na $14. Let's assume further na yung room nila, dahil mag-asawa lang naman sila, room lang yung rent nila, $1,000, tapos monthly food expenses is $250, transportation is $200. So in summary, yung combined income nila monthly is 3,200 Canadian dollars. Ibawas na natin yung provincial and federal taxes, ibawas na natin yung living expenses. Monthly, meron ka pa ring savings na 1,000 Canadian dollars. And in 1 year time, that's 13,000 Canadian dollars or some 500,000 pesos. So as you'll see, yung ginastos nyo sa day-to-day expenses nanggaling sa income nyo. Na supposedly, ang gagastusin nyo dapat yan, galing yan doon sa baon nyo na 14,000 Canadian dollars. So nasave nyo yung 14,000 Canadian dollars and meron ka pang additional savings na 500,000 pesos. So, madali mo siyang mababawi. In fact, this is very conservative dahil yung student, pwede naman siyang magtrabaho full-time during school breaks. And yung school breaks, pwedeng tumagal yan ng 3 months. Yung spouse, hindi naman limited yan sa $14 per hour and 40 hours per week. Right? So, as you'll see, madali nyo siyang makukuha. Ang kailangan nyo lang is decisionan. Right? Nasa latter part na tayo ng slides ng presentation. Kung may mga questions po kayo, umpisahan nyo na pong i-post using yung QA box and then I'll be happy to answer them later pa. Alright? But before that, let me just share with you some of our clients na nag-iwan ng review, feedback about their experience. No? Si Ms. Dana May Rodriguez is a registered nurse. Asawa niya si Sir RJ ay registered nurse din. Si Ms. Dana yung nag-aral. Okay, latter part ng 2016, pumunta sila sa Canada. And then si Sir RJ, registered nurse din, may open work permit. Naging permanent resident sila dahil kay Sir RJ. Kasi there is a program before na nagtrabaho kasi siya as healthcare assistant, healthcare aide. So meron dong program na kung 2 years kang experience as healthcare aide, pwede ka na mag-apply ng permanent residence. No? So nag-apply sila ng PR through Sir RJ and naging permanent resident sila in 2019. Took them about 3 years para naging PR, 2-year program na studies, then 1 year na work permit, 3 years yung work permit actually na nakuha niya. So yeah, yung assistance namin starts from, depende sa inyo, no? Pwede kasing hanggang student visa lang, pwedeng hanggang PR din, katulad ng ginawa nila Miss Dana. Right? They are actually in Vancouver right now. Si Sir Ephraim actually is currently nasa Manitoba. So malapit na rin namin i-process yung PR niya. Kaalis-alis niya lang kasi, pero yung wife niya kasi may trabaho na. So nandoon naman sila sa Winnipeg. Student visa din. No? Ang feedback naman nila is we are very detailed and meticulous pagdating sa documentation. We do this because wala kasi siyang interview, personal interview. The visa officer will make a decision based doon sa documents na isasubmit mo. Kaya kapag kami nag-process ng application mo, dumadaan siya sa series of checking. Minsan for filing na lang, tapos may nakita pa sa final QA na inconsistencies o kulang or pwede pang i-improve, ibabalik ulit siya sa drawing board para ayusin before namin siya i-submit. Kaya mataas yung approval rate. May mga nare-refuse din, pero like I said, ang common problem is yung finances. Okay? Si Miss Julia is actually a grade 12 graduate here. Tapos instead na mag-college siya dito, doon na siya nag-bachelor degree. No? So we are open. No? Ang office namin is open ngayon, pero we do not accept walk-ins. Kung pupunta kayo sa office, kailangan yung mag-book ng appointment. And if you want to talk with one of our case managers, mas maganda mag-book kayo ng appointment para kami mismo yung tumawag sa inyo. Iniiwasan natin yung gusto nyong kausap ay engage sa isang client, tatawag kayo, tapos hindi kayo masasagot kagad dahil may kausap nga. No? So iniiwasan namin yon, kaya everything should be by appointment, even yung pag-communicate, discussion over the phone. Pero kung it's a short message lang or maliit na bagay lang naman na yes or no yung sagot, you can text us or contact us via email, SMS, so hindi naman po siya problem. But if you want a long discussion, that would require you booking an appointment para ma-address yung concerns. Alright? Okay. Suzette case is actually personal sa akin dahil Suzette is my wife actually. I'll tell you our story. We've been to Canada several times already before we decided to migrate. And during those visits, we never thought of migrating to Canada. Dahil we thought na okay na kami dito kasi nakakapasyal naman kami sa Canada, and modesty aside, halos yearly, nagbabakasyon kami abroad. So we really thought na okay na kami dito. But what made us decide na mag-migrate sa Canada is because we have a friend na maganda yung career, IT guy, dinideploy sa US and other countries, maganda yung sweldo. So yung company niya nag-offer ng redundancy program na more than 40 years old na rin siya, so inavail niya na early retirement, nakakuha siya ng malaking funds. Unfortunately for that friend, in less than 2 years, naubos yung pera niya dahil nagkaroon siya ng serious illness. To the point na pumupunta na siya sa mga bahay-bahay ng mga kaibigan niya, pumupunta siya sa amin, mabibigyan namin konting tulong lang. And that actually made us rethink our situation. So one time, I was driving, ihatid ko yung wife ko sa Accenture. My wife used to work with Accenture. She's an associate manager sa mobility, people mobility department. And then sabi ko sa wife ko is, what if kaya isa sa atin magkaroon ng ganung condition then? How prepared are we? During that time, sabi ko, meron kaming coverage pa. So, pero we realized na hindi pala talaga enough yung coverage namin. And our fear is, what if kung mangyari yun, kung kailang retired na kami at wala ng coverage? So baka maging financial burden kami sa aming daughter. No? Nag-iisa lang naman yung anak namin. So, sa tanong ng wife ko, ano gagawin natin? So, I realized, sabi ko sa kanya, kailangan pala nating mag-migrate. Unfortunately for us, hindi na available sa amin yung option na direct immigration because of our age. So the only pathway for us para maging permanent resident is through student visa. So, but the long story short, we decided na mag-resign yung wife ko. Siya yung nag-aral sa Canada. Our game plan is siya lang muna. May kapatid naman siya doon, marami kaming kamag-anak, so hindi naman siya totally alone. Kami ng daughter ko dito muna sa Philippines, susunod kami supposedly last year noong April. Kaya lang, pandemic. So we might fly to Canada April or May, okay, this year. Now, so 2018, inihatid namin yung wife ko sa Canada. Doon kami na Christmas, New Year. Nag-start siya ng class noong 2019. Tuloy-tuloy yung program niya. Nag-aral siya sa Fanshawe College. Hindi siya nag-school break. So maaga niya natapos yung program. Naka-graduate siya noong April 2020. Natuwa kami, of course. At the same time, worried. Pandemic eh. So baka hindi siya magkaroon ng trabaho. Pero in less than 2 months, na-hire siya kaagad sa dami ng pinadala niya ng application. May mga interview siyang napuntahan. And in fact, nung nag-start na siya as campus administrator sa Futures Canadian College, may mga job offer pa sa kanya. Why I'm telling you this is because ang common fear ng mga applicants ngayon is pandemic eh, may trabaho ba? Right? So there's your answer. And in fact, ang target ng Canada for the next 3 years ay magpapasok ng 1.2 million new immigrants. For this year, they're targeting 401,000 new immigrants. Hopefully, kasama kayo doon, no? Or kung hindi man, the next 3 years, yan yung target nila. So open yung immigration. Yes, affected lahat ng pandemic. May mga industries na na-affectuhan. May mga industries naman na naging doble yung requirement. Nagkaroon ng mga opportunities. Alright? So that's our story. That is the reason why we want to migrate. Pero, dapat malinaw din sa inyo as to why you want to do this. Right? Kasi if you are saying that you want to do this because you want to give your family a quality life, the question to you is, what's stopping you? So bakit hindi ka pa tumuloy kaagad? Right? So those are the pathways, those are the programs available for you, and those are the options if you want to do this on your own, canada.ca. Pero if you want to hire us, the next step is kung ang question nyo is magkano yung babayaran sa amin and all that, sign up. Diyan sa link, wala naman kayong babayaran pag nag-sign up. Just fill in the information, details, about kung saan namin kayo makokontak, ano yung service na gusto nyo, student visa ba, express entry, etc. Sign up and you will receive those information via email. Now, after doing that, a case manager will be assigned to you. And then if you want to talk with your case manager, book an appointment. Nandiyan po yung link. Alright? So at this point, I am going to entertain yung mga questions if you have any. So we have ample time. Medyo napabilis yung aking discussion. Pero yeah, I'll be happy to answer questions. Kung meron po kayong mga questions, simply use the Q&A box. I'll be waiting for your questions pa. Thanks. Okay, there's a question about IELTS. Pinapa-clarify. Yung IELTS po ba na tinatanong nyo ay student visa or PR? Okay, just the same. I'll explain po. IELTS for immigrant visa, umpisa natin sa student visa. Student visa, hindi mandatory yung IELTS. Okay? Kung yung school mo ay hindi nagre-require ng IELTS, then pwede kang mag-apply ng student visa kahit walang IELTS. However, nandoon ka na sa Canada, mag-a-apply ka na ng PR, i-require ka pa ng IELTS? Yes. Lahat ng PR pathways kailangan may IELTS. Hindi ka magiging PR kung hindi ka mag-IELTS. Alright? I hope that's clear. Kung hindi po clear, paki-send na lang po ng follow-up question. Another question from Ms. Danica. How much po show money or proof of funds? Okay. Magkano yung proof of funds is basically kasama siya doon sa na-discuss kanina. Let me share my that part of the okay, there. Ang show money na pinag-uusapan natin dito is basically yan ay yung tuition tsaka living expenses. Nagdidepende yan kung ilan po kayo. Alright? 10,000 Canadian dollars yung living expenses if you're single. And then add mo yung tuition mo, let's assume 15,000. So your total quote-unquote show money is 25,000 Canadian dollars or 1 million pesos converted at 40 pesos. Kung may additional dependents ka, idadagdag mo lang yon, 4,000 sa spouse, then 3,000. Alright? Kung hindi po klaro yon, you may post another follow-up question. Alright? Okay, there's a question from Miss Joanna Kayanan. Paano po pag may below 1-year-old baby tapos student visa with family? Ano yung ma-advise nyo? Okay lang po ba mag-daycare? Okay, you will not be the first to do that. Marami kaming clients na ganyan. Yung isa nga, few months lang kapapanganak nung umalis. It will be easy kung may kamag-anak ka or kaibigan na mag-assist sa'yo pagdating doon, matutuluyan or magtutulong sa'yo. Kung totally stranger ka sa Canada, wala kang kakilala, yeah, pwede naman yung daycare. But you should know na medyo mahal yung daycare. Mahal yan dahil hindi ka pa permanent resident. Kapag permanent resident ka kasi subsidized siya ng Canadian government. Now, sa experience yung ginagawa ng mga clients namin, it's just a matter of scheduling. Yung isa ay nasa school, nasa bahay yung isa, tapos pagdating ng isa, galing sa school, yung magtatrabaho naman yung isa. I mean, scheduling. So, hindi siya nagiging problem. Meron kaming client, 4 yung anak, ang liliit pa. So, nung naghahanap sila ng bahay, talagang sama-sama sila lahat. No? And they're okay. Actually, malapit na rin silang maging PR. So, yeah, medyo mahirap. I'm not saying na madali lang yan. As long as you are aware and you will plan for it, hindi siya dapat maging problema. Alright? I hope that's clear, Miss Joanna, pero kung hindi po, please make a follow-up question. Okay, question from Miss Ginalyn. Sir Apple, may tanong po, saang province kaya best na mag-aral po ako? Aying po for ECE, 40 na next year, and pareho po kami ng asawa ko na nasa 40 na. Wala po kami kakilala sa Canada, may isang anak, OFWs po kami pareho. Thanks po. Okay, that's a very good question actually. Kasi sa maraming bagay, no, primary consideration, saan ba madali maging permanent resident? Alright? Pangalawa, yung cost of living. Alright? So yung ibang province mahal, yung ibang mura. So depende po ito, Ma'am Ginalyn, doon sa preference po ninyo. No? Kung, how shall I put this? Kasi you can't have everything in one province. For example, what I mean by that is, for example, sa Vancouver, it's a very nice city. Actually, I like it the most, yung Vancouver. Hindi masyadong nag-snow. Maraming trabaho. Ang downside, mas pinakamahal yung cost of living sa Vancouver. Across Canada, pinakamahal ang Vancouver. And then, bagamat maraming trabaho, marami namang nag-aagawan sa job opportunities na yan. Now, kung pupunta ka halimbawa sa ibang province like Prince Edward Island, alright? Secluded na island, maliit siya, mura yung cost of living. Ang tuition doon is around 9,000 lang. Kokonti yung trabaho, pero kokonti naman yung nag-aagawan. Right? So, kung hindi ka sanay sa tahimik na lugar, then Prince Edward Island or Atlantic provinces is not for you. Kung sanay ka sa malalaking city, then go to Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver. No? But yeah, to answer your question, kung ECE yan, and hindi kayo mapili sa lugar, your choices should be any Atlantic provinces, preferably, what you call this, Prince Edward Island. There's this school there, Holland College. They offer ECE. Mura yung tuition, mga 9,000 lang. Pwede rin yung Northern Lights College. Nasa British Columbia naman ito. Yun nga lang, madaling mapuno yung mga programs dito. College of New Caledonia is also okay. Lahat ito, walang IELTS yung requirement. No? And if you want to go further north, Yukon University, actually, mas madali rin maging permanent resident dun sa Yukon. Alright? Pero, Ma'am Ginalyn, if you will hire us, kami yung problema dyan. Tatanungin lang namin kayo kung saan nyo gusto, ano yung preference ninyo, and then our admission team will do the legwork for you. Magsa-search sila ng mga programs, school na pasok doon sa criteria ninyo, and then magsasuggest sila sa inyo, then kayo yung magde-decide. Alright? Sign up, and then we will definitely guide you pa. Alright? Question from Maria Rio. Kasabay. May recommended po kayo na school for nurses. One of the best schools as for nurses is, hindi lahat kasi tumatanggap ng nurses. No? I would recommend Edmonton, Alberta. Nandiyan yung Northwest College. They have a very good programs. And for nursing, kung gusto mo namang Ontario, Fanshawe College offers a very good program, mga graduate studies related sa nursing. And Conestoga College as well. There's a lot actually, no? Pero doon yung top 3 na pwedeng maisip ko. Kung sa Vancouver naman, mayroong mga ano dyan, may mga colleges din na Langara College, may mga nursing program sila. And yeah, like I've said earlier, once you signed up with us, hahanapan namin kayo ng program based doon sa preference po ninyo. Alright? Ma'am Ginalyn, kung teacher po kayo at elementary, yung tinuturuan po ninyo, perfect po sa inyo yung ECE. Alright? Question from Ms. Joanna Kayanan. May nursing course po ba sa Holland College, Prince Edward Island? I am not sure, pero mukhang limited siya sa mga sa tawag dito, sa mga resident and citizen. Kung hindi man po nursing, nursing related na program po sa Prince Edward College. Question from Marvin. Are people more than 30 years old is eligible for the student visa? Is age an issue? Sir Marvin, actually no. My wife is actually 42 years old nung nag-aral siya. Right? So, hindi siya problem. Meron kaming 51-year-old nag-aral din. Right? So, hindi siya problema. Alright? More questions? Keep them coming. These are very interesting questions. So, yeah, keep them coming. Pero kung ang question nyo nga po is related po dun sa cost, then yan po yung kasunod. Another interesting question from Sir Marvin. Do you have to stay in the province, city you graduated from, or can you move to another place after graduating? This is a very good question. Once you completed your program and you applied for a post-graduation work permit, you can actually work anywhere in Canada. For example, nag-aaral ka sa Ontario, meron kang post-graduation work permit, wala kang mahanap na trabaho sa Ontario, pero may job offer sa Manitoba, then you can fly to Manitoba, work there, and apply through Manitoba Provincial Nominee Programs. Yes, you can do that. Thanks, Marvin. All right, do you have more questions? Miss Sharon Severo, I have po relative po sa Kelowna. What school po kaya ang affordable near ko na? Software developer. This is a very good program. Meron tayong partner school sa Kelowna, yung Okanagan College. It's a very good school. They offer IT programs. Yeah. And they have IT companies in Kelowna as well. I was able to visit Kelowna, I think 3-4 years ago. It's a very nice city. I like it actually. Tahimik, all the urban amenities na sa isang parang province, no? Nandoon, malapit sa lake. And Kelowna is a nice city actually. And we have Okanagan College there. All right. You have more questions? We still have ample time. Happily, hanggang 4 tayo, pero medyo napabilis yung aking presentation. But that's okay. Kung may mga questions po kayo, you can always post your questions. Pero kung wala na, then we'll have to wrap it up. Pero I'll wait for a few more questions if you still have. Do you have more questions? Okay, magkano po yung consultancy fee? Alright. Again, ang consultancy fee po namin ay depende po yan, no, doon sa program na i-avail po ninyo. Kung gusto niyo pong i-avail yung program na student visa or student visa with PR assistance or express entry lang, sign up lang po kayo dyan sa link na nandiyan dyan sa screen. And then mapapadala po namin sa inyo via email yung detailed cost. Hindi lang basta consultancy fee. Ipapadala rin namin yung visa fees, no? Magkano babayaran sa biometrics, medical, etc. Kasi we want you to have an informed decision. So before you sign up, dapat alam nyo lahat yung mga bagay-bagay na yan. So yeah, if you are seriously considering this, then sign up. Alright, so actually we have ongoing promo ngayong February which will be extended hanggang Monday lang, no? If you to give you an idea po, ang down payment po ng consultancy fee is $1,200 US dollars, and then yung balance is payable within 60 days. If you're planning to apply for student visa, you're single, that is purely 1 to yun, no? Pagka may dependent ka, 1,600, pero hanggang PR kasi, kung may dependent, that is 2,400. But what I'm saying is that we usually collect 1,200 as a deposit, and then ang balance is payable within 2 months. But if you're going to sign up, hanggang Monday lang po ito. Supposedly hanggang ngayon lang po yan, no? Pero extend namin hanggang first. If you will sign up, hanggang Monday lang po ito, no? With $500 US dollars as deposit, pwede niyo pong bayaran yung balance within 4 months. Okay? Last po niyan hanggang Monday. We're doing this po kasi we're planning to increase kasi yung aming consultancy fee, and hindi lang ma-implement kung kailan. Pero yeah, you have until Monday to avail yung ongoing promo namin na 500 deposit, yung balance payable within 60 days. Kung magkano yung babayaran, paano siya babayaran, you don't have to visit our office to do that. So sign up doon sa link, matatanggap niyo po yung information, yung total cost. And then if you sign up with 500 deposit, pwedeng bayaran in peso, pwedeng sa Banco de Oro, BDO, or online using credit card. Until Monday, you can sign up. We can accept 500 deposit po. No problem. Alright? This is for those who are seriously considering this. Kasi yung cost, madaling pag-usapan po yan. Mas maganda lang na in writing po lahat. So if you are seriously considering this, sign up. Matatanggap niyo po yan via email. Alright, time for another question from Miss Arlene Mendoza. I am mechanical engineering graduate. Is there a program na related sa tinapos ko sa Prince George? If ever, nasa magkano po average tuition fee? Okay, we will be needing more information as to which program yung appropriate sa'yo. Kasi, let me tell you this. You can practically take any program that you want. Whether it is related sa iyong most recent training, education, or experience. You can practically do that. Ang mahalaga lang is maipakita mo through your statement of purpose doon sa personal study plan kung bakit mo ito gustong pag-aralan and how will this relate doon sa career plan mo as a whole. I'll give you an example. Meron akong client, medtech, medical technologist. Ang experience niya, well, sa laboratory, no? Several years yung experience niya. Nag-aral siya sa Canada, na-approve yung student visa niya. Ang program na kinuha niya is Hospitality and Tourism Management. I know, these are two poles apart, right? Medical technologies tapos tourism management. Pero paano niya yun na-justify? So ginaguide namin yung clients in how to prepare a personal study plan. So sabi namin doon sa letter, in the first place, hindi ko gustong maging medtech. Pinagbigyan ko lang yung parents ko who are both physicians na mag-medtech ako dahil gusto nila akong sumunod sa kanilang yapa. What I really wanted to do, however, is to manage our business. So meron silang resort. So tumutugma yung program niya doon sa career plan. Alright? So hindi necessary na related yan. No? Now, kung ang question niyo mo naman is specifically, meron bang mga related programs sa Prince George, sa College of New Caledonia? Yes, there are programs. Maraming technical programs na ino-offer doon sa College of New Caledonia. And ang average tuition doon is around mga 12,000, 13,000 one year. Pero every year kasi nag-i-increase sila, no? Lahat ng colleges and universities sa Canada. Pero ngayon, on the average, that is around mga 12 or 13,000 Canadian dollars yung 1 year. Alright, Ms. Arlene, I hope I was able to answer that. Pero kung hindi po klaro, you may pose a follow-up questions. Okay, question from Sir Dexter. Pag nakakuha ang pag nakakuha ng IELTS, then kumuha student visa, pag kukuha na po ng PR, valid pa po ba yung unang IELTS? That is a very good question, Sir Dexter. Your IELTS requirement for admission purposes sa student visa application is academic. All right? Yung IELTS requirement for PR application is general training. So kung kumuha ka ng academic, mag-a-apply ka ng PR, kailangan mo kumuha ng general training. Suppose yung school mo ay hindi nagre-require ng IELTS, pero kumuha ka ng IELTS general training dahil gusto mong mag-apply ng student direct stream. Magagamit mo ba yung general training na yun sa PR application? Yes, depende kung kailan. Your IELTS is valid only for 2 years. So kung mag-apply ka ng PR, after 2 years, you will have to take another IELTS. Klaro po ba, Sir Dexter? Paki-confirm po. Kung hindi, follow-up question. Alright? More questions? Okay, follow-up questions sa show money. Alright, nasan ba yan? This one. Okay, what about this po? Regards sa show money, pinakita. Okay, so ano po yung question dito? Para ma-address po natin. Okay. That's very good. Doon sa PR application, mas mababa yung requirement. Nag-vary yan, depende sa family members, number of family members. Pero nag-uumpisa yan sa, I think, 13,000 Canadian dollars kapag single. Then additional 3,000 every additional family member. So meron din pong show money yung express entry. Nag-i-start yan ng mga around 13,000 Canadian dollars. Kasama ito doon sa pinapadala namin po sa email. Matatanggap nyo po ito doon sa email. Kung nag-sign up kayo halimbawa sa express entry, lahat ng incidental expenses, mga requirements, matatanggap nyo po yan via email. Depende po ito doon sa number ng family members. But pinaka-minimum requirement dyan is around 13,000 Canadian dollars. All right. You're welcome, sir. All right. May mga questions pa po ba? Again, kung may mga questions about the cost, sign up po dyan sa link. All right. And then, kung may mga questions po kayo, post nyo lang po. We still have time. Follow-up question from Miss Ginalyn. Requirement po ba sa Stay the Pathway yung police cert sa mga bansang pinag-stayan for 6 months and for PR application, dapat po ba valid pa yon o gagamitin pa po ba? Okay, this is more on documentation. Ano? The way we do it po kasi we provide, once you signed up with us, dito tayo magsisimula ng documentation assistance. What we will do, once you signed up, once you paid, bibigyan namin kayo ng application kit. Nandito yung list ng requirements, guidelines sa documents, application forms, templates para sa mga letters, no? And then there will be a documentation specialist na i-assign sa inyo para explain yan isa-isa sa inyo. So that's how we do it po. Kasi police certificate is just one of the requirements. But since tinatanong niyo po ngayon, let me answer that po. Okay, this is a very good answer. Very good question. Pag nag-apply kayo ng visa papuntang Canada as a student, yes, re-required po yung police certificates sa lahat ng bansa na nag-stay kayo for 6 months or more. Pag nakakuha na kayo nun, tapos mag-a-apply kayo ng PR, then pwede nyo nang gamitin po the same document. As long as hindi na kayo pumasok ulit doon sa country na yun. For example, nagtrabaho kayo sa Saudi noong 20 hanggang 2010. Tapos nag-apply kayo ngayon 2020. Okay, 10 years. For example, halimbawa, 2015 na galing kayo ng Saudi. Tapos, before kayo umalis, may police certificate kayo, nag-apply kayo ngayon ng visa, ginamit niyo po yun, mag-apply kayo ng PR, kukuha ba kayo ng bago? Hindi na po. Pero doon sa country of residence po ninyo, kakailanganin pa po, country of citizenship, maaaring hingan pa rin po kayo ng updated na NBI naman po. Alright, I hope that's clear po. Pero kung may follow-up question po, Ms. Ginalyn, please do. Pero kung case specific or documentation related, we usually do that po. I-guide po namin kayo dyan. No worries. Once you've signed up with us. And again, you have until Monday to sign up with the promo po na 500 deposit. Kasi kung mag-sign up po kayo dyan, ang matatanggap nyong email, ang down payment talaga 1,200. Tapos yung balance payable within 60 days. But until Monday, if you will start, you can pay online using credit card, you can do bank transfer, or you want to visit the office, pwede rin po. And then you can pay as low as $500 po na deposit. You're welcome po, Ms. Ginalyn. Kung may mga questions pa po yung iba, please feel free. That's why we're here, para ma-address po natin yung mga sagot po, mga questions po ninyo. Alright, Sir Dexter, question about Atlantic. Yung sa Atlantic po kasi hindi ito katulad nung express entry. Magko-qualify ka po dito kung may job offer ka sa Atlantic Immigration Pilot. So kung may job offer ka, ang question lang dyan is ma-approve ba yung application for Immigration Pilot. Kapag na-approve yung nomination mo, and then hindi siya pooling, no? Pag na-approve yung nomination mo, ang next step mo is mag-apply ka na ng work permit. Okay? Para makapasok ka kaagad sa Canada habang hinihintay mo yung PR status. So hindi siya katulad nung nominee program ng nasa pool or express entry. So ang main requirement dito is meron ka dapat job offer. Klaro po, Sir Dexter? Kung hindi po klaro, follow-up question. Yep, Sir Dexter, sa express entry po yung pooling. For example, nasa express entry pool ka, tapos after 1 year, hindi ka napili dahil mababa yung ranking mo, your profile will expire. Okay? So kakailanganin mong mag-submit ulit. Wala namang babayaran sa pag-submit, sa pag-create ng bagong profile. However, by that time, bababa further yung ranking mo because of the age factor. Kaya nga kung hindi pasok yung profile mo sa express entry na okay. Pag hindi ito yung profile mo, we discourage applicants from applying sa express entry. Kasi there's a great chance that you will be waiting indefinitely. Pero kung yan yung profile mo, yeah, you have a fighting chance. Kung hindi ka pasok dito, tapos yung work experience mo ay pasok dito sa Newfoundland, dito mas may laban po kayo rito. Kasi hindi mo kailangan ng job offer dito. Alright, I hope that's clear. Interesting batch here. Maraming interesting questions. May mga questions pa po ba or shall we wrap it up? Again, just a reminder, habang hinihintay natin yung mga other questions, kung interested kayo sa cost, sign up dyan sa link na yan nasa screen and then matatanggap nyo po via email. Pag wala sa inbox, check nyo po yung spam folder. Alright? And then minsan nasa promotions folder yung email. These are system-generated emails. And then although sa email na matatanggap ninyo, 1-2 yung deposit, if you will start by until Monday, mamaya pwede kayong mag-online, bukas pwede kayong mag-online or bank transfer hanggang Monday. Pwede po kayong mag-start with a 500 deposit and then yung balance po pwedeng bayaran within 4 months instead na 2 months lang. Okay, mukhang nasagot na yung mga questions. Oh, okay, may questions pa po. For 1-year program, sir, ilang years po ang post-graduation work permit? Kung 1-year program po, 1 year lang yung post-graduation work permit. Depende sa profile ninyo at kung saan kayo pupunta sa Canada, hindi namin usually nire-recommend yung 1-year program. Kasi ang requirement sa express entry is 1-year experience. Ngayon, pagka-graduate mo, halimbawa, it took you 3 months bago makakuha ng trabaho. So, hindi mo na mapupuno yung 1-year na requirements. Kung mag-aaral ka naman halimbawa sa Edmonton, sa Northwest College, yung Alberta Opportunity Stream, 6 months lang yung experience na kailangan. So, that may work. Alright? Especially if you're single. Ganun din sa Manitoba. But generally speaking, I would discourage you taking 1-year program lang po. It's always best to take a 2-year program. Kasi yun nga, yan yung naging problem ng ibang mga international students na nakagraduate nung time ng pandemic, 1 year lang yung post-graduation work permit, tapos hindi sila makahanap ng trabaho kasi nga pandemic, limited yung opportunities, nag-expired yung work permit nila nang hindi sila nakatrabaho. Meron pang ibang nag-apply ng post-graduation work permit, umuwi ng Pilipinas, tapos naipit dito, na ubos yung 1 year niya na work permit, hindi nakatrabaho. So, fortunately for those international student graduates, medyo maunawain ng Canadian government. Inallow sila na mag-extend ng actually hanggang 16 months, I think. No? So pinayagan silang mag-extend. Ordinarily po, yung post-graduation work permit, one time mo lang siyang pwedeng i-apply at hindi siya subject for extension. You will only be allowed to extend your work permit after post-graduation work permit kung merong employer na mag-i-sponsor sa'yo. Kung walang employer na mag-sponsor sa'yo, kailangan mo i-convert na yan sa visitor record habang naghahanap ka ng employer. Okay? So, we highly recommend take a 2-year program pero depende sa profile. Yes, posible naman yung 1-year program lang. Okay? Again, you have until Monday po to start with only 500 deposit. If you are seriously considering this, sign up. Nandiyan po yung link. Check your email. And then nandoon po yung instructions on how to do it. All right? Sir Dexter, sa Nova Scotia, nandiyan yung Cape Breton University sa Nova Scotia. Walang IELTS. Cape Breton University. Nasa Sydney, Nova Scotia siya. Sa Cape Breton Island. A very nice city actually. I've also been there. Kung hindi ka sanay sa tahimik na lugar, Nova Scotia may not be for you. Kung ang gusto mo is yung maingay like Makati or Ortigas, so go to Toronto or Vancouver. Pero if you're into nature, yung tahimik na lugar, then Nova Scotia is perfect. And if it's Nova Scotia, Cape Breton University. For those of you na wala pang assigned case manager, fill out lang po yung online assessment sa Gateway to Canada. Or kung nakapag-fill out na po kayo, hintayin nyo lang po, meron kayong matatanggap na assignment. More questions? We still have 36 minutes left. Okay, mukhang wala ng mga questions, na-answer na lahat. Should there be more, you can always book an appointment po, no? Pero before nga po kayo mag-book appointment, mas maganda na nabasa nyo na yung mga details. So sign up and then book an appointment para ma-address po natin yung further questions. And again, I mean this, if you are serious about this and you want to start at a lower deposit, you have until Monday to do that. All right? That being said, I hope yung pag-attend niyo po ngayong araw dito sa aming webinar will make a difference doon sa magiging future decisions po ninyo. Simple lang naman yan. You want to immigrate to Canada because you want to have a quality life for you and your family. The question you need to ask yourself is what's stopping you? So it doesn't matter if you apply on your own, do that for your family. If you think you need assistance, then sign up. Ganun lang po kasimple yan. Either you want it or not. Trabaho po namin is may present sa inyo ano yung options, solutions that work for thousands of our clients. If you also want this, then we will be your gateway to Canada. Thank you very much po. Ingat po tayong lahat. Bye!